Balls out. Huh. Yo, welcome to the podcast. It's the three balls in. PJ's dropping topics, let the combo begin. Dave O's on the stats, breaking down the play. Logan's never plays, but still analyzing the way. We're talking Jumbo legend. First stop the share leader, and we're not a cult. The wizard with the magic, ready to boot. Prime's the captain, without his prey. Cootie's in the kitchen, cooking up the meat. Bringing flavor to the game, never tasting defeat. Yeah, Ron's is trash, but we love to remind him. Sin's the future, but he's still a scoop. Praise the MVP, always bringing that heat. Big E's the hugs, lifting spirits on repeat. So tune in, don't miss it. We're more than a game. In the world of Jew ball, we're building our name. From the topics to the stats, we got it on lock. Three balls in, we're ready to rock.
This is TBI 3 Balls In alongside Logan and Davo. The boys are back in town. We're back better than ever. We're finally here. You've been waiting over a month to see the three of us talking about all Jew ball sports, and there it is. We are here. We are ready. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for being you. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. Let's jump into it. How you guys doing?
I thought we weren't talking about Tuesday Night Football.
I feel good. I'm like, we got the gang back together. I love it.
Davo?
Let's do this. I'm excited. I think Sting and Spear might just got a little like half excited right there.
Half chub.
Oh yeah, kid show, but
Well, it's about time. The people have been clamoring for TBI, and listen, we had to come back. We had to give the people what they wanted. It's good for the three of us to be here together in Logan's lair, doing what we do best, and that is get everything wrong. So let's get something wrong right away. Logan, you want to recap for us a little bit of the leagues that has happened so far this season?
All right. Well, then let's jump into leagues. We've had 3 league games so far, and let's start with them in chronological order. So Carnivores played the Blunts of Prime. Quite frankly, it was not a very close contest. Carnivores won 35-18, better known as 5-3. If you just look at what happened, Gronk continues to do Gronk things. 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. Carnivore's line were causing issues all day. Kuti had 4 sacks, and they only gave up 1. So again, seeing Blunt of Prime really struggling a little bit on the line there. And then Zinn is showing everyone why he was the number 1 pick. He had 3 interceptions. He had 2 TD catches. That quite frankly speaks volumes, and him showing up in the first game, showing why he was the number 1 pick. We love it. Honestly, Bop or Blunts of Prime, whatever you want to call them, they're a team that is going to thrive on chemistry, right? When you talk about some of their blocking schemes, some of the, whether it's Prime blocking for Iceman or Iceman blocking for Prime. So they're a team that, because they're a little bit more reliant on chemistry, it's not surprising that they lost the first game. I would expect them to get better as the season rolls on, and quite frankly, as they build more chemistry. Yaron also threw 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers, and that does bode well for their team. But unfortunately, it wasn't a losing effort. Moving on to the next game, you got the Gorillas versus the Rubber Duckies. Gorillas really had this one pretty easily. They won 19-6, or better known as 3-1.
Sure.
Prey picks up right where he left off last season. 3 touchdowns, no picks, and he even caught a pick. So again, Prey doing what Prey does best. Big question in this game, and quite frankly for the Rubber Duckies, is can Dax win without his brother? I think that's going to be the underlying theme of that team for this season. And quite frankly, until he proves otherwise, I think that question will kind of loom over his head. He had, 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Not a great showing for him, but again, there may be a little bit of rust, and who knows, maybe Tuesday Night Football helps him kind of shake some of that off. And then DK continues to be a huge problem for a mobile quarterback like Prey. 3 sacks on a mobile quarterback like Prey is really an accomplishment, and DK just doing what he can even in a losing effort.
Sure.
Last game, Reapers versus the Carnivores. The Reapers came in. People had some question marks, but they really, really made a statement. They won 26-7, also known as 4-1. Is Fight the Baker Mayfield of Jew ball? Kind of having a relive or revive story. He's showing what he can do when he's healthy, and quite frankly, what he can do when he gets good protection.
I think a better comp is actually Vinny Testaverde.
Why? He's not that old.
I just meant bouncing around, having some success.
I think a better comp is probably Trent Dilfer.
Well, he hasn't won the chip yet, unless that's your prediction. They're going to win the chip.
He did win a chip, but not playing
Right.
cards. But anyway, I hear what you're saying.
It's if you think about it on paper, take the quarterback out for a second, because we're going to talk about the team. you have solo and open, which is essentially comparative to Munch and solo. So you're essentially recreated the cronies, but you added the best receiver out of both those teams and Mighty. And Goldberg played for both teams. Steve-O played for
Both
both
those teams,
teams.
right?
So like, it's a very similar kind of thing. The only thing is you're swapping Gronk for Fight. So if Fight
And
could be good enough, serviceable, then they should really be really good.
listen,
It's a very terrifying line.
Fight besting Gronk is probably the biggest story of that game, right? Because coming into that game, Carnivores coming off their first big victory, Kuti looked like the drafting guru taking Zin #1. Listen, you have a bad game. Like you're not, going undefeated is something that last year's BOP team did. It's the rarest kind. Most teams don't go undefeated. There's a lot of parity in Jew ball football. But seeing the Carnivores get beat the way they did by the Reapers, you're going to see something right there. That line of solo and open, they're scary. That image, by the way, that Mo took, by the way, shout out to Mo,
Agreed.
of like solo and then, I'm sorry, open and then solo, and then
Yeah.
didn't make a difference who was behind them. It could have honestly been,
You could have had it. You could have had like that old man from that, that meme what they have where he's like following all the college players. Like you could have had anyone running behind there. So yeah, so I would agree. Soul Open, which is what their new nickname is, but Soul Open had 6 combined sacks. They are going to be a menace all season long. Mighty continues to not age, 1 touchdown and 1 pick six. And then, quite frankly, Gronk had a bad day, and Zen had no stats. And carnivores are going to rely heavily on those two. And I think that as the season goes on, we'll see their success will kind of go up and down as those two players, so their wins will go with those players and their losses will go with those players. And, that's kind of where you want to be with your best 2 players.
So every team has played 1 game, and Carnivores have played 2. So, I mean, leagues are exactly where you need to be. So you have right now the leaderboard, you have the Carnivores technically are now in 3rd place, right? Because they're 1-1. The first place team being the Reapers, right? And then the Gorillas.
I guess technically
based
Reapers
on points,
have
based on
the most points.
So
scored,
Reapers
yeah.
right now in first place at 1-0. Then you have Gorillas at 1-0 because they also they scored fewer points, 18 points versus the 27 of the Reapers.
Yep.
Carnivores at 3rd. 4th place, we would obviously put the Blunts of Prime.
They scored more points than
and then Duckies in 5th place.
Yep.
So again, you're looking here at a very, very good league. Again, parity being there. Can't wait for the next game coming up. But before we get there, I do want to drop some breaking news to the Jubal community. While my playing career has diminished, that's not the announcement. The announcement is that this season, I will be the eligibility commissioner. That means if you remember the season before it started, Jordan made it very clear there are parameters to how a captain can allow players to play. The rule is for eligibility is 10 games played in the entire Jubal season. So just keep that in mind, Jubalers. You want to be eligible for the playoffs, you got to get through this guy. So, fear or fear not, play 10 games, you got no problems. But shifting on along, we have a new segment with an old familiar face. And I actually like the name of this segment because it is the side dish of Jubal. Take it away, Big E.
Hello, Juballers. The Z. PJ's canceled me last year. I had a hug of the week. So I had to come up with a new concept. The side dish. That's where we talk about the people who are a little bit unrecognized as members of Jubal. These are the guys who bring a little spice and a little bit of flair and are the guys who really help win games. This week, we're going to talk about a lineman. Somebody who, during a non-league game, just stepped out and did his job. Played line the whole game. And so this week's East Side Dish is Sam. Sam, buddy, you are looking fantastic. I love the new spelt look. And apparently you played a great line. I didn't see it playing a league game. So, Jubal, let's salute Sam. for being this week's side dish.
I love this new segment.
Dude,
I'm loving it.
I mean,
Loving this new segment.
Biggie's side dish may become our new side piece.
Oh,
There you go. But I love who he highlighted here. A guy like Sam, you don't normally hear on the stat line, but somebody who shows up, plays hard. I love the fact that he highlighted someone who doesn't get the love everybody else gets, but the fact that Big E's recognizing players who put themselves out there, I gotta love it.
And quite frankly, I think that's kind of the point of the segment, right?
Yeah.
It's to kind of mention some of the unsung heroes who may not get a Jew ball or who even may not get any stats, but some guys who really kind of go out there above and beyond for their team to make sure that they get a little bit of the spotlight as well. And quite frankly, I think that that's, a fabulous thing that he's doing.
No, I don't think Hug of the Week is gone. I think Hug of the Week is taking a back seat because you got to evolve, right? You got to evolve over time and get better. Davo, you want to introduce our next guest? Or our first guest, I should say.
It is our next guest, but yes.
is it our first guest? Our first guest of the season?
Our first guest of the season.
Well,
I mean, the draft, we had a lot of guests, but our
they
first
don't count.
official guest of the season.
So I think with my first pick of first guest, I think it's just fitting to have the first captain, Kut Roberg.
What's up, boys?
It's good to
How
have
we
you
doing?
representing their carnivore.
Oh, what's up, everyone?
Yeah, here we go. Good to have you, man. What's up?
Honored to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Take us through draft night really quickly. I know it's been so long ago, nobody remembers it, so it's okay. You're making the decision. Obviously, your son helped you, but you're making the decision between Zin and Prey. Is that like choosing, I don't know, Scarlett Johansson or Megan Fox?
Scarlett Johansson?
Oh,
Well, that's got to be in both.
And by the way, that's such a dated reference that tells you how old we are.
Not
Both of
wrong. Not wrong, but
But still good choices.
yes, excellent choices. So it was a lot went into that decision, a lot of back and forth. There was no wrong decision there. Pray, my apologies publicly. I think I told you I was going to pick you number one, and then well, that changed.
That's awkward.
But there was it was a little awkward at the time.
But look, that's what happens when the captain of the cheerleading squad says that she's available.
Well, yeah.
You got to say yes to Zin.
So it really was up until we actually made that said that number one pick. It could have gone either way.
Sure.
You know, I asked everyone at the draft, I was talking to different people. Singer, thank you for your help. Snow, really just getting advice from everyone. And I think we made the right decision. We got lucky. Everyone else kind of drafted poorly, so that worked out well for us. We got Gronk in the second round or the third round, depending how you want to look at it. But
Yeah.
ended up working out really, really well, and I cannot be happier with my team. So Carnivores, we're gonna win. We're gonna go all the way. Yeah.
I love it. Davo?
it's Kuti. Great seeing you. Obviously, always. If you do go all the way, it's fantastic. But just know that you already have one loss, and you're not as good as the Bob team last year. But let's look into leagues a little bit. You've played 2 games already. You won one, you lost one. What do you think about this year's league so far? There's no set dates, captain drafting. Going into the season and already experiencing 2 games, what do you think and how do you feel about this year's leagues?
So leagues are terrible. We should not have leagues. But if we're gonna have it, but I don't know if anyone disagrees with it.
No.
But if we're gonna have it, let's try and do it right, and that's what I think Jordan tried to do here. Non-captain captains really try to put a more relaxed twist onto leagues, and I think that will show as the season continues on. I know it's no set games, but let's try and figure out what games are going to work, when the schedule is going to work. This person can't play, that person can't play, but let's relax about it. It doesn't have to be as serious. Generally, when it's more serious, guys get hurt. But really, let's be honest, it's leagues and doesn't really make that much of a difference. But we're trying to make it a little more relaxed, like I said, and I think that's Jordan's mission this year. So having a more relaxed attitude towards it, it's fun. It's fun to play with the same guys. I think the draft is probably the most fun part of leagues.
Sure.
I think we can just have the draft, play one game, and then move on. Because that's really what it's about. It's an opportunity for guys to really show up and show out. Going top few rounds. It's not like, oh, okay, here's we know who's going first, we know who's going second, we know who's going third round. But it's an opportunity especially for someone older like me. it's a motivation to stay healthy, to push ourselves. Let's stay in shape. Let's work a little bit harder, so we can stay up there. Because it's not as fun getting picked a little lower, but you want to try and prove to yourself that you can be, and you can push yourself a little harder. So I think that's what leagues this year is trying to do. So hopefully it works out and everyone has a good time.
Luke?
Awesome. So as we mentioned, the Carnivores won their first game and lost their second. So what are some of the contributing factors that you saw both to the victory and to the loss, and how are you going to go forward from there?
So I would say that I think a few people touched on this, is that we live and die by certain players, showing up. If you're going to be number one pick, you got to play like the number one pick. If you're, top quarterback, you got to play like the top quarterback. First, let me give credit to the Reapers. Steve-O picked a fantastic team. He did a great job. A lot of people questioned it, I think, at the time.
We questioned it.
We did.
But the solo open line, that's a great name. It is scary. As a lineman, it is a very scary line.
Can I just jump in there for a second?
Yeah.
Because you've gone against Munch and Solo. Which line was scarier? Going based on one regular season game, if you can remember a few years back, which line was more fearful?
I think that's a little tough to answer. Both are scary. Munch, hey, I don't know if you're watching in Miami, but
Of course, he's watching Miami.
But this might be scarier. I think Solo this year is a different player. I think a lot of people may have questioned that based on last year, but this year he's coming in as a different player. I went up against him. I even said, I'm the captain. Let me step up. Let me play against him, and he just totally threw me into the ground. Not a great feeling. So we have to make some adjustments. But credit to Solo Open, credit to Fight. He had probably one of the best games I've seen him play in a long time. And the whole team really, their team, I think, if played like they're designed to play, they will win and they will be successful. And on Sunday, they did that. We needed to play better. Myself, I needed to play better. Gronk needed to play better. Zin needed to play. We had a lot of drops. I think someone said 8 or 10 drops. We make those catches, the score is a lot closer. But unfortunately, we didn't make it. The better team that showed up on Sunday won. And so credit to the Reapers for taking that W.
And going back to Logan's question, game one, though, you guys looked unstoppable. Is it that you guys are just more in sync that game?
I guess we were more in sync. We made the plays that we had to, and when we make the plays that we have to, we will be unstoppable. We will run up to score. We didn't even get to see. We have Zin on one side, you have Sheriff on the other side. The two of them, there's no one really that has that combination of speed and talent. Not to mention everyone else that's on that, with Effie and E and our line. We have 4 or 5 linemen that can, stand up. Again, Solo Open, it didn't really work out as well as we hoped it would. But if we make those catches, make those plays, then we have a very different game.
Okay.
So shifting gears away from football a little bit and moving on to some of the other expertises that you have, what is the ideal amount of time that meat should be aged?
So funny. Well, all depends how you prepare it.
How old are you?
So speaking of meat and carnivores, I did bring a treat. I don't know if you purposely brought that segue in.
That.
We're going to
This is great. This is a live
show and tell. All right.
This is you want a cookie board. You don't need to order it. You just got to come on TBI and get some.
So last time I came here, I kind of brought a board and you guys sponsored it. So thank you. So this time I decided to bring some fresh.
Wow.
So we're gonna
you guys
pull that out.
Wow.
On that, so
Probably would have been bread.
so
Y'all missing out. Y'all missing out right here.
And by the way, that's not a great knife, and it just cut right through that meat.
So I'm pretty sure the bonus for Logan.
All right, we're gonna slice that up.
Good line, David.
Nice, Dave.
Well, while Cookie's cutting his meat, this segment is brought to you by Prime Cut. You can get it anytime you want. Just text Cookie, and he'll make you a board. I think, what do you got to get? 2-hour notice and get a board?
Yeah, give me 2 hours notice. We'll make
Oh,
it.
man,
So
that's
to answer the question of how long you want to age your meat, it really all depends on what you want to do to it. But as a carnivore, everyone is on Team Carnivore tonight. So if you want,
I'm actually,
Look at
I'm
that.
actually
What are you,
not gonna
dairy?
have.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
all right. So I have no idea how this is going to taste. I'm hoping it's good. It might be terrible.
So good. Oh, wow.
I'm jealous right now.
It's not bad.
Wasn't the first time that someone's meat was in my mouth on this couch, but still, this is unbelievable good.
Well,
Smells
this is the
amazing.
first
Okay.
time actually.
Smells godly.
Yeah.
Meat was in my mouth before this couch, but it's just as good this time.
Yeah.
We appreciate
So-
your meat here.
Hoodie, last question for me.
Yeah.
So what is your preferred Knish condiment? Is it mustard? Is it ketchup? Is it hot sauce? Or do you just prefer to have it like au naturel with just pubic hair on it?
So really, that's really what it is. You got to raw dog it in the middle of a game. There's nothing better than a Knish. And I think all the rookies don't understand this, that what it used to be is really I pulled out Knishes from my pants in the middle of the game.
I remember that.
It kept me warm, and then it was cool enough that we could eat it in mid-game, a little energy boost in the middle of the game. Nothing better. So I really just straight up raw dogged and enjoy it.
Well, Logan, now that you killed our cheer talk for the week, let's bring it back to football a little bit. I'm going to give a little credit to Yaron here. Yaron compiled all the stats and put the total stat leaders on the website.
Thank you, Yaron. Thank you, Steve-O.
I don't know if everyone hasn't scrolled down, but if you looked last season, this gentleman sitting next to me has become the all-time sack leader in Jubal,
Wow.
surpassing Mr. Munch.
Wow, that's a huge thing.
So that really helped by Munch moving to Florida.
Oh, I thought you were going to say playing against Bert.
Oh, wow.
We don't cover fumbles this year, so we actually have to get real sacks. But I think that it's a compliment to all the linemen, the unsung heroes of Jubal, who don't get enough credit, or they're starting to get a little bit more credit. But really, when you have enough linemen, when someone else that's on your team is lining up, who's really good, the offensive line has to figure out who they're going to block more. And so it just opens up opportunities for everyone else. But it's really about consistency, showing up. Juballers, like you want to be eligible. We got a new commissioner here. Right?
Yeah,
Eligibility.
Eligibility commissioner.
All right, eligibility commissioner.
He's right.
Before he's commissioner, he was really bizarre, but he decided.
Got it. Okay. All right.
There's one commissioner. It's Jordan, co-leader. I'm just eligibility. That's it.
But it's having that. I forgot where I was going with that. But having
the sack leader,
having the sack, being able to open up those opportunities, show up consistently, play as many games as you can. Don't just show up for leagues. Show up every game that you can. It's an opportunity. It's not a right. It's a privilege to be able to, like we say, play both. Rookies, if you're listening, you should be. There's going to be a quiz afterwards. But show up, play, show up with everything that you got, play hard, and so that way then you'll be able to keep playing. As soon as you stop, you're going to slow down. So keep going, keep showing up, and do what you do.
Kuti, we typically at this point thank the guests for being on, but we have one last segment. Would you mind hanging around and joining us for a little debate?
I would love to.
Okay.
I have more meat than I'm going to eat. So yeah.
So,
are you a master debater?
I am a master debater.
All right,
Okay.
that's perfect.
So here's the thing. There's a little bit of a debate here. We know in leagues there are defined roles in league. There are guys who are meant to be tight end, offensive linemen. There's certain guys set to be safety on defense. But in a non-league game, should there be a rotation where everybody plays offensive line and tight end, or you got one tight end, but everybody kind of shifts and rotates at offensive line? Or should it be that you have set linemen, set tight end, and set positions? Dave, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts here?
Listen, guess first.
You want to go with the guess?
Yeah, let the guess first go.
No,
Fine. Okay, I'll give my opinion first. Fine. I'm trying to have manners here. I'm really just trying to
That's
put
what
more meat.
You just want to eat.
I'm really trying to put more meat on
I
the mouth.
understand.
Hey, listen,
Okay.
I appreciate the growth of Davo here. I love it.
Wait, you're talking about Davo's meat growth?
Yes.
Is that what we just talked about?
Thank you, Spira. Okay.
All right. So here's my opinion is that Jubal leagues, right? People are drafted for certain reasons. No matter what round you were drafted in, this guy's a lineman, this guy's a receiver, et cetera, tight end. In Jubal, it's just about having fun. Yeah, it's about winning and playing hard and enjoying. But like you come here. We're old guys, most of us. And I know that the younger guys are like, no, but a lot of us older, we're just trying to stretch.
Half the show is watching like old. I'm not even 25 yet. So keep going.
Jesus. We're just trying to stretch, just trying to keep active, trying to, road to 215. You got to move around. Yes, we have unsung heroes that will always offer to play tight end, or that there are always guys that will offer to play deadline. For what they think is the good of the team, but it's not. And my reason is like this: is that anybody at any point can make a big play, If you get stuck on that line, if you think I'm gonna stick myself on the line the whole game so I can let Zin play receiver, I can let my yeah, sure, they can make big plays. But a guy like PJ's here. PJ's has made big play after big play. And it happens because he puts himself out there. He puts himself at wide receiver. He doesn't do it for the praise, but he does it for the sake of the game. And for the sake of the game, everyone should have that ability to rotate. And it's to keep the purity of football. Yeah, you want to say positions are is football is the NFL, but we're just old guys playing some football, old school style, schoolyard. Just go have fun. Go out there, get the leg stretch, make a play, catch the ball if it comes to you. That's just my opinion.
Do you mind if I throw this at Cootsie, who's someone who's actually has made himself set tight end in a lot of these games in non-league games? What's your take here?
So I'll piggyback a little bit on Devo because he's enjoying my meat at the moment. But as a designated lineman, like when it comes to leagues, that's the position that that I'm filling. It's nice to have an opportunity not to play the line. So if given the opportunity, I'm going to say I'll take a number. I'll take the first number. I always say I'm number one, but then I'll start off on the line, but then move off the line because I do want to have fun. Playing line is fun, and I might be better. Certain people might be better at certain positions, but I still want to have the opportunity to run out, to run a route, to be able to get a touchdown. It's great. I come home from the game, and my kid asked me, "Dad, did you score any touchdowns today?" I said, no, I played line. So, I had different opportunities. I may have had a sack or 2 or 4 if I'm playing against their own. But being able to, have that, it's fun. It's more fun to score a touchdown. Same way it's more exciting to win than to lose. It's more when you score a touchdown. It's exciting. I don't care how old you are. That's a fun thing to do. You have a great play. You're able to run out and run a route and out and in, whatever it is that you're doing, to have that opportunity to be able to do that. So if it's a league game, you were picked for a certain position. So you kind of have to say, hey, you know what? Let me embrace that role. But if it's a non-league game, let's get out there. Let's have a good time. It's really, all about, like we said, even about leagues, is to have more fun, to enjoy it, to be able to get out there. At a certain point, you might say, like Dave mentioned, hey, the game's on the line. Where will I best serve my team so we can get that W? Because the team is greater than just the individual. But that's my feelings on the matter.
Loke?
Yeah, so if it's leagues, I think it's a no-brainer, right? Leagues, you're playing to win. So wherever your captain puts you, that's where you're going to play, or you just don't play. So I think leagues is a completely separate conversation. When it comes to regular Jew ball, I think it kind of depends. If there's a guy who wants to play line, the whole point of Jew ball is that everyone is playing and doing what they enjoy outside of quarterback, only because that impacts other players, right? If you have a bad quarterback or a guy who doesn't know how to play quarterback, it's going to ruin the game for the rest of the team. So, I think quarterback's an exception there. But if you have a guy who says, I want to play line or I want to play tight end, then I don't think you need to, have him go play wide receiver. Now, granted, if he wants to play wide receiver, no one should be forcing him to play line. No one should ever be forcing him to give up his turn at wide receiver or give up his turn, But if there's someone who raises his hand and says, yeah, I'll be tight end the whole game or I'll be deadline the whole game, all right, maybe that's what they enjoy. Maybe that's what, maybe they like the battle in the trenches. You can tell Bosch he should go out and play wide receiver. I don't know. It just feels like on the non-league weeks, it should be whatever each player wants to do that makes the game most fun for them. Now, look, if you're on a last drive and your team it's tied or your team is down 1, if your team is down 2, then it doesn't matter. But if your team is down 1, if the game is tied, and to you it matters more to win than it does to get a stat of a TD, all right, I can see people volunteering to play line because they think there are other players who might do better, like Zin, Mighty, guys like, the premier guys. But overall, if there's a guy who wants to play line, I got no problem with that. Let him play line all game. Who cares?
I think I'm on Logan's side here. As someone who's actually been asked on
that, I don't like. Sorry. No, I mean, no one should be asking you. No one should be asking you to play line, though. I think that's inappropriate.
I thought you would disagree with my take here.
Okay. No.
As someone who's been asked by quarterbacks in my Jew ball career on a last drive, hey, do you mind playing offensive line? I think it's partly as a compliment of, you can help block, but it's also I think there's a better wide receiver than you. Listen, you can do 2 things. You can say my ego is hurt. No, I'm not going to play offensive line. Or you have the choice of saying, sure, I want to win this game. I think I trust my team I am willing to block. And I think I used you brought up Bosch. Bosch is a vet. Bosch is, he's Jew ball, thick and thin, right? That's who Bosch is. The guy never wanted to play wide receiver. He wanted to hit people. He didn't care about stats.
Right.
There are guys who do care about stats. There are guys who, like you said, Kuti, you want to go home and say I caught a touchdown, or you want to be able to look on the website and see that you have a touchdown on your stat line. Because honestly, if you don't have that stat, people look at your stats and then you come to draft the next year, they'll be like, oh, well, that guy doesn't play, that guy doesn't catch touchdowns. But you've got to do what's best for the team. And sometimes people's egos come before what's best for the team. Somebody has to say, we need you to play line. And at that point, you have to say the team matters more. Now, does that mean they should be asked to play line the entire game? Does that mean teammates shouldn't step in and say, like, dude, why don't you go out for a drive? I'll block this drive. Like, I think people should do that. But again, what's best for the team is the best linemen are playing. And if their other team, if you have a line of solo and open and going against you in a non-league game, guess what? You need the two best offensive linemen or best guys to block those guys. Otherwise, your team has no shot at winning. You're not even getting a ball. Your quarterback's being sacked in the first second. So don't even think you're going to get a pass. And not only that, you're going to lose, and you're not even going to get the ball either. I think it's what's best for the team. Got to do best with it for their teammates. And again, we're all Drew bowlers, so you got to look out for each other always.
If I can add one more thought to that, because you
Sure.
brought up quarterbacks, is that there are certain quarterbacks that will make better use of their tight ends. And in that situation, you might say, you know what? Some quarterbacks will say, hey, can you play tight end, set tight end? Certain quarterbacks, the answer will be yes. Certain quarterbacks will be no, because they never throw to a quarterback. They'll never throw to the tight end, but certain quarterbacks will give action. I'm showing up on a Sunday. I want to play. Don't just put me at the line to block. But if you're sending out routes and giving me plays that I can participate, then I'm okay with that.
Rabin really knows how to utilize a tight end.
Davo.
And the ground.
Davo, what did Jew bowlers need to do this week?
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Smash, smash, smash. What else we got? Big day coming up. November 11th. Veterans Day. Wizard's birthday. Is there anything else going on that day? Rook's wedding. Be there. What else we have? Don't forget to sign up. Week something. What episode is this?
5? Week 5? Are we up to 5?
5, 6.
I think it's
something
5-ish.
like that.
Maybe 6.
Tuesday night football. Shever Brachos for Rook.
Week from this Sunday.
Yeah.
Be there.
You don't want to miss it.
It'll be fantastic. I think they're calling it the Jew Bowl event of the season. As well, don't forget, if you ever need your meats, Prime Cuts is here. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. That's not why we brought you here, but it was definitely an added bonus. Anything else?
Boys, what are we?
3 balls out.
And we're now 3 balls in. Have a great week, everybody.